Okay, here we are at Flexr6 Media with Dr. Peter Cichonski. How you doing, Peter?
Hey Ken, I'm awesome. I'm great. How are you today?
Going well, going well. We've had a bit of rain here in Australia, but we needed it, so that's okay. I'm happy.
That's that. Yeah. You got to be happy either way, right? You just got to go with the
Yeah,
flow.
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So with a little bit of rain, you probably didn't get much of a sunrise today, huh?
No, which affects light, of course, and that's our topic for today, isn't it? Or one of them.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Last week we spoke about some of the benefits of red light and how the red light can enhance while you're training, especially if you're training outdoors. You can enhance your efficiency of, or should I say, ability to do more work for a longer period of time because that red light penetrates directly through 30 centimeters through your body into the power plant of the cells, the mitochondria, creating more energy, more energy more efficiently. So you have an opportunity to take advantage of that,
Yeah,
and so that's really a good part of being outdoors with natural light, and I make it a point every day. I told you I have a mentor, neurosurgeon, Dr. Jack Cruz, and he told me never to ever miss another sunrise again. And because the sun holds all of the light sources that run our biology and program us. It's the instruction manual that tells our brain what to turn on and when to turn it on, and so I thought we would do a couple of things. I actually got a great question by a patient in my office yesterday, which made me think a little bit. I'm, you know, I like to have fun. I enjoy my day, and the patient made the comment, boy, you always got a lot of energy. Do you got something you do in the morning that kind of gets you going? And and so it was a good question because I do, and as you know, I also was fortunate enough to have an article in the inaugural issue of Iron Man
yes.
that came out a couple of weeks ago, and called "Change Your Mind, Change Your Body," and it has to do with the mind muscle connection, but in reality, we can do that at some point, but really. It has to do with the cumulative injury cycle, and how we get into these cycles of injury because of our repetition of stress, repetitive stress, our sustained stress, and acute injuries. And in the article, I tried to give some practical information about escaping that cycle, and hopefully people will get their hands on Iron Man and read all the great articles in there, because there's lots of great information on drug tested athletes like ourselves, and so anybody can replicate what we do in there, because we're just doing things naturally.
Exactly. It's all
But
in Iron Man. Yeah.
yeah, it's really great that we get that platform to use. But in that article, I wanted to try to give people practical information on how to escape this cumulative injury cycle, things to take with them so that they could do today, and to get working on that. And so that, I thought, was a good opportunity today for us to speak a little bit about that and give you a little bit about what I personally do to get my day started. And since we're talking about light, it all starts with light for my day. And I always I think we talked about an app that I have downloaded and I recommend it. It's called D-Minder.
Yep.
It tells you when the sun's going to come up. It tells you when vitamin D is going to be available to be made, and how many how many milligrams you can make per minute. And it's a great app. But anyways, I use that app to arrange my morning and make sure that I am up when the sun is coming up. And it's what better time to do some of the other things that I would recommend that we do on a daily basis to get our biology going, and to get our biochemistry, our biophysics, our biomechanics, all of those bios working for us. And so sunrise has basically three colors of light that are very evident. When the sun comes up, it's more orange, right, as opposed to a yellow.
Yeah.
It's you can look at it actually and not really have to look away. But the biggest reason for seeing the sunrise is to get your biology started properly, because that's where the blue light is it's the first blue light that happens that day in your world. And when that is cast upon your retina, that literally flips the switch onto your brain and says, it's time to get working. And your brain is instructed then to start up your anterior pituitary gland. It's instructed to make growth hormone. It's instructed to knock out melatonin because you shouldn't be sleeping. It's instructed to do a whole bunch of things. And if you start your day off like that, it's like just getting into your car and just turning the key, and you're ready to go down the highway. And so, but while I'm there, I want to spend 15 or 20 minutes there, and it's a great time and it's a great opportunity to do some of the other things that I would recommend everybody does to do something daily to prep your body for what is to come for that day. If you've got to be doing a lot of sitting because you're a truck driver or an office worker, or you've got to do a lot of repetitive things if you're a factory worker or in whatever you do.
Yeah.
It's a great idea to start that part of your body, going in the right direction. And, for me personally, I like to start with some breath work. And I'm not sure if you, we may have talked about it, but do you have any sort of breath work or breathing techniques that you've ever been part of or tried?
Yeah, interesting, Peter. Someone introduced me to stretching many years ago, and I still do it today, and I find it extremely beneficial for myself, and I pass it on to my clients as well. But sort of like stretching of the lower body predominantly, but some upper body. But they taught me very first up that it's not about the stretching, it's about the breathing while you're stretching.
Absolutely.
So I take myself to a point and do the deep breathing. It might be 3 to 5 deep breaths, and the pain goes away. And then I can stretch a little further and 3 to 5 deep breaths, and the pain goes away again. It's just amazing because you actually focused on the breathing. And even something as simple as weight training, we all tend to hold our breath and things like that. But if you control your breathing, you can extend your set, by 1, 2, 3 or 4 reps. It's an incredible thing. Breathing it sounds so basic, but it's so important.
Well, yeah, absolutely. And the basic reason we breathe is to breathe in oxygen, right?
Yeah.
Oxygen, the basic reason we breathe, the basic reason we eat food and drink water is to take all of those things, hydrogen, oxygen, carbon, nitrogen, into our bodies and use those things to make the energy that we use, for our bodies to do the work that they do.
Yeah.
So, and when we're sleeping, we're not breathing very deeply. Our breaths are, more shallow, right?
Yeah.
And so a lot of times you need to kind of ramp up a little oxygen into the system to get it up and running. And so have you heard of Wim Hof?
Yes, I have. Yeah.
Yeah, Wim Hof, they call him the Iceman also. We spoke of cold thermogenesis a couple of episodes ago, podcasts ago. And so he does breath work and the cold thermogenesis, that's his thing. So I do his breath work first thing in the morning, and what it really is it's a breathing in about 30 breaths in and exhaling only about halfway, and I do that about 30 times, and then I hold my breath for usually as long as you can, but I'll do it for about a minute to a minute and a half. I've been as long as 3 to 4 minutes actually.
Wow.
Practicing this technique. Absolutely. Yeah.
Wow.
it teaches your tissues in your body to really work well with or without oxygen. But you're taking lots of oxygen in on those breaths, and you're utilizing it so you can hold your breath for a long time. And so you're really saturating your tissue with oxygen when you do some of this breath work.
Yeah.
So, and it's an amazing way to get up and running in the morning, because that's what your body needs. So, I get the blue light from the sun to get my engine rolling. I do some breath work first to get the oxygen in and really get it flowing and circulating through my body. And, and like you said, along with the blue light, there's red light. And we've spoken of that. And, that maximizes your mitochondria's, it really sets your mitochondrial efficiency up for the day. It kind of gets it ramped up right away. And so red light's always available in the sun, as is blue. But, the other benefit that we may not have talked about last week, just to touch on, is red light also conditions your skin. I know in Australia there's a lot of concern about sun and sun damage and skin damage because of the donut hole over there.
Yep.
But what the key to accepting ultraviolet light, because we'll talk about that maybe next week or a future episode, because ultraviolet light is vitally important for making vitamin D and for many other things that we'll speak of. But red light conditions your skin to accept ultraviolet light, because first thing in the morning there is no ultraviolet light, there's only red, and the ultraviolet does not make it to the earth until the sun is at 30 degrees above the horizon. So until that happens, you don't get any ultraviolet. And here's the cool thing. You make all your hormones, you get your body revved up, your fuel tank gets filled up from sunrise until ultraviolet light appears, usually 3 to 4 hours later. Yep. When ultraviolet light appears, it is the shutoff switch to everything that got turned on at sunrise for making all of those things. So whatever you made between sunrise and ultraviolet light kicking on, and that's when you can use your D-Minder app to find out when ultraviolet B will be present. Right here in this, where I'm at in Southern California right now, it's about 8:30, between 8:30 and 9 o'clock right now, depending on the time of the year. That is a shutoff switch to a lot of those things, so that whatever you've got in your tank, that's what you got to make it through the day with. So, can you imagine if you don't even really kind of access some of that stuff? It's a wonder. Everybody, at least here, needs a lot of stimulants, a lot of coffee, a lot of things, an afternoon nap, a lot of things, because their body runs out of those resources that are made in that early AM sunlight. So, so what better way to access that AM sunlight and then do other things that will benefit your body? And so we've got breath work, we've got I do some stretching. For me, it's my hip flexors that get tight. So I make sure I keep those lengthened. The posterior chain of my body, I make sure I have lengthened. I do some joint mobilization to lubricate my hip joints. Just basic things that, everybody has their body parts that might be less than adequate to get them where they want to go. And that would be a great time to work on some of those areas. Yeah. Okay. So, so I do some of that, and I do some foam rolling. Usually foam roll my quads, my calves. I'll go up and down my spine slowly and just, mobilize everything. Yeah. And, so that's, a great, that's an example of my journey on my, enhancing my health span by trying to stay out of this cumulative injury cycle that plagues so many of us, and it takes us out of commission so that we have to sit on the sidelines and we can't participate in a lot of the things we like to do. So
it's amazing. There's so many self-help initiatives that we can employ, but rarely we do it.
I know we have to make it a priority, because I don't know about you, but on in any given day, I think there's too many things that I have to get done that don't get done. So I have to prioritize, and that's why I get up and everything I just said, I prioritize that first, because I know for me to have a successful day, a successful workout, a successful recovery, to interact with my patients in a manner that I have to give them energy and people come in. If you're not feeling so good and you're coming in, pick me up, right?
Yeah.
So,
the last thing you want to see is Dr. Doom, correct? That's the last person you want to visit.
Yeah. So some of those are some of my pointers and my tips for starting the day off right, and giving you guys out there some food for thought to get your day started on the right foot. And we spoke of, we're speaking of blue light, and we spoke of the benefits of blue light. But real quickly, if we've got a few minutes left,
of course.
Maybe we should also distinguish between artificial blue light and natural blue light, because we know that the sun is got all the wavelengths, and blue is that wavelength that I spoke of. But as we spoke of, also we also live indoors, and in our country, as maybe in your country too, most of the indoor lighting is artificial fluorescent and LED lighting.
Yep.
And those are almost completely the blue wavelength, and that blue wavelength that's artificial is absolutely the opposite to your body. It is more alien to your body, and your body knows no difference other than a blue wavelength. So it's going to be programmed by either one. The only difference is the instruction guide and manual for our biology has nothing to do with artificial blue light, and it actually discriminates against it if I guess we could say, because it will be an alien programmer, and it will create all kinds of havoc in your biology.
Yep.
So that's the sort of thing that in a nutshell, we really want to get back to natural sources of light and energy to start our day, to run our biology, and not that we have to avoid artificial blue light completely, but we have to be aware of the detriment that it can have by covering up when you're indoors. It's the exact opposite of what we in this country were taught. We were taught to cover up outdoors, and you could be naked as a jaybird indoors. But now we know that our skin has those photoreceptors that read the wavelength of light that hits them, and as well as our eyes, and it's going to be programmed based on that artificial light. So we want to cover up when we're in the presence of that blue light. We want to block our eyes from the most of the devices are blue light driven, blue lit driven. Our phones, our televisions, our computers, as well as our overhead lighting. So we want to be aware of that. And at night, when the sun does set, our biology is not supposed to see any more blue light, and so when it does, it undoes some of the benefit that the natural blue light gave you during the day, such as the melatonin that's made, which is the hormone of sleep, right? It's actually made in the AM sunlight, stored through the day, and then when the blue light disappears naturally, it gets put into your blood so that you again, can go through your most important cycle, which is your sleep cycle, which is your recovery stage. Yep. So you can recover everything that you used for the day, and then get ready in the morning to fill your tank up when those natural light sources stimulate all of your glands and organs, through your eye to do so.
Yep.
So, so that's kind of the story of kind of a mixture of, the beneficial things to do in the morning to escape the cumulative injury cycle, as well as get your biology running on the right track, and maybe some maybe tomorrow somebody will ask you, Ken, why you're so energetic.
And I'll just grab this recording out and say, hey, listen to this. That's great. And I'm actually going to try some of that. We are coming into winter now, but I won't let that stop me, because we have discussed the cold thermogenesis training of putting your face into cold water, which I've started.
Awesome.
So I'll be fully competent within maybe 5 years. Or less, but I'm working on it.
Well, because as we've spoken, wherever you live, when you lack light, you increase cold, and so they kind of go hand in hand, because when one's absent, the other is present.
Yeah.
And so your mitochondria use magnetism through cold to do similar things that the light does to your mitochondria as far as energy production.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Either way, it's there's no excuses, I guess.
I guess, yeah.
Right.
If it's dark, you use the cold.
Dark and cold, if it's dark, you use the cold. If it's light, you make sure it's natural.
Yeah.
And take advantage of it.
Perfect.
So, yeah.
Great.
So,
that was great, Peter. Thank you. Extremely
my
informative.
pleasure, Ken.
Yeah, and we need to catch up again next week. What will we discuss next week? Any thoughts?
I think next week, well, you know what? I think we'll kind of start talking probably about another spectrum of light that's vitally important, which is ultraviolet light, and it's very interesting. There's some extremely amazing things that happen in our body, which even NASA can't explain, but we're going to try.
Yeah, wow.
So
that's exciting.
Yeah. So that's we'll go down that road next week, and maybe add a couple of practical applications and tips on how to use it to make you to improve everybody's health optimization.
Exactly. Perfect, Peter. Thank you so much, and we'll talk again next week on Flexr6 Media.
Sounds great, Ken. Have an awesome week.
You too. Take care.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye.